I rewatched recently one of my favorite movies. Selma tells the story of the fight to registered voters in Selma, Alabama, culminating in the march from Selma to Montgomery, led by Dr. Martin Luther King in 1965. Spoiler alert, after being turned around, threatened, beaten, tear-gassed, and killed, black people got to vote in America. A young and handsome John Lewis is depicted in the pivotal role of community organizer who helps lead the movement. Another spoiler alert, John is a member of this body and serves with distinction from the state of Georgia. It is among the highest honors of my life to know John Lewis and to work with him. In fact, I've marched with him and gotten arrested with John Lewis outside this Capitol building in our fight for immigration reform. I highly recommend the movie, and I want every citizen and every person who lives here and hopes to become a citizen one day to watch and learn from the movie Selma. It is a moment in history when voting and citizenship were literally life and death struggles, and it was only 50 years ago. And just yesterday, the NAACP completed an historic 1,000-mile march from Selma to Washington to remind us how we must always stand up to bullies and official inaction using nonviolence and community organizing and empowerment techniques. The way to respond to racism is to vote. I have been thinking a lot about that recently as the Republican presidential field of candidates has fallen in line with a bully who spews racism and is leading among his party's primary voters. What can Americans do when the tail that is wagging the dog of the Republican Party is saying that most Mexicans are murderers and rapists? What can we do as a nation when candidates blame unrest in reaction to police violence in Baltimore and Ferguson on Mexican and Central American immigrants? What can we do when thousands of people cheer when a candidate proposes building a wall of America on our southern border and the response of the other candidates is to say that we should build another wall opposite Canada as well? Well, in the movie Selma, Oprah Winfrey didn't just get mad. She fought back by making sure she could register to vote. We've all learned what the Republican Party seems to be forgetting, that appeals to a narrow Republican electorate with over-the-top racism and below-the-belt immigrant bashing will not get you to the White House. Governor Romney got more white votes than any candidate in the history of the United States, but he couldn't overcome the demographic reality that the country is more diverse, and so are its voters. Appeals to racism and immigrant bashing are creating a predictable backlash in neighborhoods of my district in Chicago. People are calling and coming into my office asking what they can do to push back. And very specifically, those who are not yet citizens are asking, how do I become a citizen? And those who have not registered to vote are asking how to get that done. In Latino nation communities and in every community that thinks calling most Mexicans rapists is not the kind of political rhetoric that should go unchallenged, people are becoming citizens. My office in Chicago is known as a place to go if you want information on the citizenship process. In total, more than 50,000 American citizens have come to our office for help in figuring out the process. The demand for information on citizenship has grown so much in my district that this Saturday, from 9 to noon at the Instituto del Progreso Latino, I will join my staff and local advocates and the local office of the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service for a free workshop on applying to become a citizen. Not only will people get help in understanding the process, we will also help them figure out if they qualify for a fee waiver, so that the $680 application fee that people have to pay is not a barrier. Think about it. There are roughly 8.8 million immigrants with green cards who have lived in the U.S. for 5 years or more, or have been married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years or more, and they can pass a background check and qualify for citizenship today. So what I'm proposing is that instead of renewing your green card if you're one of those 8.8 million people, and you get it for $450 for 10 years, you apply for permanent citizenship with a fee waiver and become a citizen for free. That's right. Apply for citizenship and you can vote for whoever you want to vote for. And you can even vote against the guy who called your whole ethnic group rapists, murderers, and drug dealers. That kind of ugly, un-American attack is moving people to apply for citizenship and moving citizens to become voters. Mr. Speaker, today is Citizenship Day, and there are hundreds of citizenship workshops and activities across the country. I'm looking forward to meeting with the hundreds of people who will be working towards their citizenship this Saturday in Chicago. The way to respond to racism is voting, and in Latino and immigrant communities, we're getting that message loud and clear.